Hey guys, Wandering Shell here, and we're going to be doing another painting video, this time with War from Marvel United Apocalypse group. And, well, he's one of the 4 Horsemen, who is War. Last few weeks I did Famine and Pestilence, time for War. That's kind of weird, but anyway. So I started out with Dragon Red, or just pure red at this point. Because he's gonna match with everybody else. Red. And what's really interesting with him is not just red, he also has other colors too, which is very interesting. It threw me off compared to the other 2 who I had to work on. Also, he has like he has an armor. Go figure. He's like a medieval look to him, which is interesting to look at compared to the other guys who are very streamlined. Very simple compared to him. Anyway, honestly, next week is going to be even worse because it's going to have Angel. Angel is more complex than even these guys. Get ready for that video. Anyway, back to this guy. What even to talk about? He's more red, and guess what? He has red. He has little, like, shoulder pads and arm gauntlet thingy-mabobbers, plus his gloves. So, he has a lot of red. And I kind of went over the red again because I actually have 2 bottles of the same color, but the interesting thing is, one red is more liquidy compared to the other. I don't know if it's because I didn't shake it enough, or sometimes it just happens. It's just the mixture doesn't flow right. So always keep that in mind. Next is going to be Uniform Gray. This is one of the newer colors I'm using because it kind of goes with the theme weirdly, that he's war and war soldiers and things like that. And the color is Uniform Gray. There's your theme. Yay! Anyway, so his gloves and his collar shirt thing, I make it as Uniform Gray because when I put it into the strong tone, it's going to be even darker. Always keep in mind on that. Next is going to be his plate mail. Literally, plate mail metal. Very simple color. Not as light as I got it silver, but it's like the next step down. And I thought that would be really good with him having that, well, plate mail color. Next is your good old moon dust for his face, because he has to match everybody else. Don't worry, I'm gonna fix that where the red where the moon dust color went into the red. Don't worry, I will fix that. Gone through, get every little nook and cranny, even his nose, his ear, everything like that. His hair, I went back to Uniform Gray because I wasn't too sure what to do with it. I was thinking doing ash gray, but I felt like that might have been too light, so I went with Uniform Gray. That went through there because once I do his highlights, it's gonna pop a little bit more. Okay, gotta get his side brows and stuff, and the good old greedy gold. Yep, obviously you've seen it with the past 2. It's this one also. It's gold. His horse thing is gold. Not much to it. I literally took one of my bigger brushes and have at it. All the gold. Any spot that horse has, it's gold. And there was a lot of it. He was actually bigger than the other guys, surprisingly. Or at least he's more intricate compared to the others. He also has his base has a lot more stuff going on compared to the others also, which is interesting to think about. So So literally went through with gold, lots and lots of gold. We're still going with the gold. Again, I'm using the big brush here to get the bigger spots, and then I did go back with a little brush, any part that I missed or closer to the character, I used a smaller brush. Still going with the gold. Whee. I get underneath him. Yeah, see? Getting a little bit underneath and around. And done. Whew. At least with him. Then apparently the character actually has gold rim on the shoulder pads and his arm things. So I had to go and take one of my very thin, precise brushes to get a nice, clean sweep. What makes it even nicer is if you take a good amount of the paint on there and make it into a point and then just slightly drag it. Don't do like little strokes. Do one solid stroke. That will give you more of a solid look to it compared to little bits, and it can make it look more fluid compared to the little jagged way of doing it. More fluid, especially when you have those long strands like his shoulder pads, which is like the very long strip. Try to make it one solid motion, because you also don't want to mess up. But what's nice about Army Painter, it's reliable on just go over it with the color. You'd be good. Next is going to be Gunmetal, because guess what? He has weapons underneath him because he is War, who is one of the 4 Horsemen. So he actually has a blaster on the bottom there that I painted darker compared to the rest of him, just to really show like that's the weapon of choice. And apparently there's a few other spots of him where the horse is stepping on, like how Pestilence is, and even Famine. They have that type of parts of it where it's with it. Then finally, to match the other two, Ash Gray. Ash Gray is going to be the bottom with like the stone look to it. Literally the same way how the other two are. I wanted to keep them all together on that theme because they are the Horsemen, they are usually together. So I wanted to keep them together by unifying the base a little bit more. So going through all that. That was a little harder to get through because of where the creature is. It's literally in the middle of it, and I didn't want to take it apart, so very carefully underneath. And finally, the next bit is going to be the washes. First is his flesh tone, where it's all like his face and the crivets. Then the strong tone. I just went at it with the strong tone. It is smothered. Any little crevice, it gets even darker, which is really nice to see, and you could really see all the detailing pop a lot more when it does that. But keep in mind, it does take a long time for it to dry. I waited pretty much all day after painting it to let it dry, let it fully dry, because even my base wasn't fully dry when I was working on it. So always keep that in mind. Let it dry. There we go. Almost there. Alright, so I did do a little bit of his hair as white. So what I'm doing is I'm getting my highlights ready. What that's gonna happen is when I have the white, once I dry brush with the same color, it's going to make a lighter look to it. Fixed his eyes so you can really see his eyes pop a lot more, and his mouth, like his teeth. I left it the skin tone as is. Whoopsie, I guess that paintbrush had a little bit more than I thought. Anyway, what I did was I left his skin tone as is. I didn't make any highlights or anything because he looks scary as it is, and it looks like it lined up beautifully on him. I left it alone. Just leave it alone. So really focused on his horse, because like how the others, the horse is very detailed too, and try to copy that for this guy. So yep, when you're doing, just do one solid stroke, so it gets like a precise look to it instead of short little nits, if that makes sense. Yep, like that one. Get all those, and now I'm gonna mirror it to the other side. I try to mirror it the best I can. There's certain parts where like the lines are a little wonkers, so I'm trying to match it as best I can. And then there's little bullets on the bottom, and a lot of times bullets have the gold piece, so to break up that gray and gunmetal color, I put that gold underneath. It also gives the white enough time for it to dry before I could get to the dry brushing part of it like this. So, since it was originally gold, after doing the white, I dry brush gold. How do you do dry brush? Well, you take a little bit of the paint onto the brush, take most of that paint off, and slap your character, slap your model with a brush. This will just get a little bit on there and not a whole glob, and this will make it look lighter, believe it or not. I've been experimenting with it, and from the last one to this one, and it looks like it works out really nice. So instead of doing just gold, I took the plunge and did the red also, because his red is supposed to be metal, like a metallic red, because it's supposed to be armor. So I kind of did that, especially for the shoulder pads. That really made it pop more. The rest of him, not so much, but for the shoulder pads, I really wanted to make it look shiny. So I did the dry brush technique like I did with the horse, and even his hair. I hope you guys enjoy this. Please give a like, subscribe, all that fun stuff for me doing more of these videos. And soon we're almost done doing the final touches, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching. This is Wandering Shell. I'll see you later. Bye.